Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy, I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wanderers.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvinator.
Boys, it is time.
I know.
To finish this position series with the greatest position of them all.
We have avoided it like the plague.
We have.
And the time has finally come.
And now it's here.
Man, oh man.
Where are we at?
Don't fear.
Do we know what we're doing?
I've crunched plenty of numbers, and I think I know what we're doing and where we're going with
Good.
it.
Thank you.
And it's not going to be a new concept for anyone who's actually been playing around with the game, but we are going to save money in the forward line. Okay. And go with, just put that money, invest it in more reliable players across, especially the midfield and defence, but also the ruck department. So in the forward line, I'm going to allow a few things. I'm going to allow you to go without an Uber premium.
Okay.
I'm going to allow you to select a buy player.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I'm going to allow you to take mid-priced risks.
Okay.
Okay, and that's my rules.
Thanks for giving us rules.
No problem. I want you to all go well this year.
Which is impossible to do.
Right, that's what we're doing. It makes...
When you said you can go without an Uber premium, are there Uber premiums there to select?
Allegedly.
Right.
Price suggests so. But no, there are premiums up there, but the only ones I like have a buy. For example, someone that we're speaking to a little later in the show.
Very much looking forward to that. Sam Flanders.
Sam Flanders would be a walk-up pick in any other time.
Slam dunk.
Yeah, 100%. But because he's got the buy and costs that much, that's why he doesn't quite fit into my rules that I've allowed.
So
Is Dusty like that too?
Dusty's like that too.
Well, actually, he's
Dusty's
not
a premium.
He is.
Yeah.
And he's actually... In a normal season,
Yes.
you have to consider it.
100% you
All
would.
the words coming out of Tigerland down at Punt Road is that he's fit.
It's like mouth-watering.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Dusty's going to be unreal this year. I
are
crunched some
people-
numbers on him yesterday.
are
Actually.
people allowed to break your rules and pick Sam Flanders, who went at 113 in his last 7? We'll need to find out what role he's got. But he's in 38% of teams.
Yeah, and yes. So my rules are there for safety, but they can be bent here and there.
Okay, good.
He's one that you can put in. Just like, for example, if Macrae came out in the practice games, recovered from his hammy or whatever he's got, and he absolutely kills it as a full-time midfielder, well, you're allowed that exception to that rule as well.
Okay.
Yeah. But don't laugh and poke fun at me when you see my midfield here, and it's horrendous. It's one of the most disgusting looking things. Oh, the forward line, sorry.
Yep.
One of the most disgusting looking things you've ever seen. My midfield is obviously good.
Well, do you want
because
to
of
tell
that.
us what your structure looks like then?
Okay, I will. And nothing to write home about,
Well,
as I said,
Got my
but
pen ready,
Right,
Roy.
who's your F1? If you're not going
I'm
on
happy
the
with
big
it.
dogs.
Taylor Adams, but he
Okay.
fits my rules. So he's got a
Value.
buy, so I don't care about it. But the value of being under 700,000,
Yep.
that's where I'm going.
So what does
there.
he need to average then? What is he at, 77?
Yeah, I
To
think
make that okay, especially with the buy.
I think playing midfield, he averages 90.
I don't. I'm not sold.
No, 'cause-
And that's, I don't need to be.
no. But
Calvin.
statistically, you've got nothing to back that up. So if he's playing,
That one's buying you anyway.
if he's playing midfield, so basically his average dropped based on the back of his huge drop in CBAs.
Yeah.
He's going to Sydney. He's going to get the CBAs again, which will see a spike in his scoring to where we expect him, about that 90 mark.
Okay. So you think
can be a hater, but you're actually hating him so much that you're hating on his ability rather than just
No.
the worry that
bit
comes
harsh.
with his body.
body's the issue.
He played 22 games, 23 games.
He's old. He's 31 this year.
Is that old now?
That's old.
Not for us.
Damn.
I'm okay with it.
Wish I was 31.
The one that crosses off for me, the body and the buy, the two Bs.
Well, you don't think he's got a good rig?
Oh, he's got a great rig, but it's just.
Is he playing in the
breaks down.
guts? That's the other
There's
thing.
the other
Yes.
thing. I think he has to. I don't
Which
think.
banana is he?
Well, while Callum Mills is out, not that he's exactly taking up CBAs last year, but while Callum Mills is out, he's a big banana in there.
So Parker had 75% last year. Then it's like Robot and Warner both in the mid-50s.
Yeah.
Mills was 37%. Errol,
Yep.
He was in there a lot towards the end.
Yeah, so 36% for the season.
Yeah.
He had a bit more time in there. Is that what he's going to turn into?
Well, towards the end there, he's having there's one game at the end of last year, 77% CBA, 61% CBAs. So he's obviously popping his head in there as well.
Yeah, he's going to be big in there.
Yes.
That's what I think, and that's why I'm bullish.
So that's your
on
F1.
him being my
Where are you
F1.
going from there then?
Okay.
Must be getting a bit cheap.
Well, I am. So then I'm going to Zach Fisher.
Okay.
All right, so Fish...
Pending body too, I guess.
Well, pending body, but I don't make big calls like this without sourcing it first,
Right.
mate. So
Oh.
I have sourced on the Fish,
Oh.
and Fish is going to be fine.
Tartars.
Yes. So Fish is fine. I'll dip him. And yeah, halfback, Hammy's fine, racking up 90 points a game.
Well, put that to bed.
90 points
There you go.
Yeah.
Jeez, I tell you what, Roy's predictions are big.
I know, but once again, they don't come without research, dog. Check what he did
Ever.
the last month with the Blues.
Yep.
Check what he did in the VFL at halfback.
And the ball's going to be there a fair bit.
100%.
Melbourne's halfback.
Look what Zeeble did, for example,
Aaron Hall.
as the second banana off halfback.
Bananas and halfback. What a combo.
All right. Okay, so it started ugly and it gets worse from here. No.
So
Well, at
Fisher
least-
is your F2.
Hell yeah, he is.
Holy, have you got them in price order?
But I think so.
That's actually an issue.
Here's the deal, though. You get down to your F3 and you're like, oh, my God, where's this going? I'll just do a Brownlow medalist, 2-time, Nat Fyfe.
Fifey.
Yeah.
So Fifey, he is
Yeah.
just the bull has returned.
It has. Yep.
To the middle. And so he's just so underpriced, it's ridiculous. So all these guys, Adams, body risk. Fisher, body risk. Fyfe, body risk.
Yes.
But they're all in the forward line, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
And they're all cheap, so it doesn't matter.
Just don't want that body risk all to happen in the 1 week.
Then I'm cooked for the season.
Yeah.
But that happened to me in round 1 last year, so if these guys can last 2 weeks,
Yep.
that's an improvement. Then I've just got James Jordan, once again.
Yep.
Buy player, but it doesn't matter because he's in the forward line and cheap. If he loses the vest, he's just really underpriced.
Well, there's 20 points upside
100%.
at least, isn't there? That's the thing. So that's 2 swans, so that's 2 dudes on the same buy.
Yeah.
Does that worry you at all?
Not in the slightest because they're in the forward line and they're cheap.
Part of the rules.
They'll just be covered by, in the 18, some rookie in some other position can just play for them.
So
whatever.
those 3 players there, we've all probably been having a look at them anyway.
Yep.
So Fyfe has definitely sprung onto the radar for me. Midfield time, back again. Apparently he's looking good. Everything's all looking nice there. Again, he's sort of that player. Like he's got a 4 in front of his name. Just has to play through the first half a dozen weeks or so.
Okay.
Yep. Willing to take the risk on it. And if one of them, and it wouldn't surprise me, dropped before the season, I'll flick him to someone else. That's fine.
Because there are some there that you might be able to find in that range. So you like your Fisher, and you've done some sourcing.
Yes.
You're okay with that?
I'm fine with that. Yep. Wouldn't have put him in there. Would have been totally unprofessional by someone in my position to do that without the research to do
Now,
so.
Cal, you don't like Adams.
No, see, you don't say that.
No,
you
well,
don't say it
that's
like
true.
that. I don't want to select Adams into my team.
Okay, but you've got James Jordan.
Yes.
Why do you like him?
Because he's just dirt cheap.
So
He's got a 50 next
25
to his
plus
name.
points cheaper, isn't he?
Like it's a 50. He'll be on a wing. He'll have a wing, and we all know wings can be a hot wing or a cold wing, Roy. But with
I've got bad memories of the SCG as well.
yeah, I know. But it's a 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's way too cheap. He's just a lot better than that.
Yes.
But you do mention that, dog, that there's multiple buys, but it's just not going to matter, especially when across the other rounds on the other positions I've avoided the buys so well that they can be covered. A couple of them in the forward line.
Who's next?
We will talk about some cheapies soon.
Yes, we
But
will.
there might be a few of them with forward status. I
Around
think.
that
definitely.
300k
Cash
mark.
cow. Well, everyone's got Harley Reid. I'm
Yeah.
tipping he's in your team.
He is, and he's the last one that I'm going to tell you that's in there.
Yep.
Oh,
There you go.
are you spitting the goo?
No, I just want to keep a little bit to myself.
Oh, do you?
Right,
Yeah.
not your other rookies that you got
Because
on your plate.
here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Comes round 6 or 7 and we're like, oh, I'm going to upgrade someone in my forward line. Who do you go to? Like,
Well, hopefully we're getting some DPPs.
We will
But
do.
are there any that
are
are
we
on
going,
the radar?
oh, wicked, I get to turn Harley Reid into Jack Macrae. Woohoo, party at Team Carbonato's house.
Oh, well, he might turn it around. We can't forget
Okay,
how good Macrae
not
was.
Macrae.
Sorry, dog. I forgot to share my bench. It's
yes.
DJ, Darcy Jones,
Yep.
and Manor from the
Okay.
Cats at this stage.
They're pretty popular.
And I still hold hope that he will actually start.
I'm with you.
Yeah, for them. But I'm only starting one rookie on field in the forward line at this stage.
Right. Could it be more?
It could be more.
Because there's one I'm looking at pretty
yes?
closely, and that is a North Melbourne player.
Oh.
Charlie Lazaro at 288k.
Charlie.
Things are
Ex-Destroyer.
sounding positive, and that's where I want you to do some more sourcing, because you do have a nice little bit of you've got a bottler
Got multiple squirters.
at North Melbourne. Now, because I think he could be a chance.
Yeah.
And if he is, like if he's there round one, I'm picking him, and potentially then
fair.
he comes on field.
Yeah.
And that's where some of that structure can go. Harley at 5, and then he can go at 6.
Yeah.
Players-
No, that's definitely in play.
Yep.
And the forward line is the place to do it with these guys, especially with so many times where we've got best 18.
So here's the way that we might do this part is go, because people are going super value. We'll start with these cash cow, the sub 300k type players, in order of team selection. And we'll sort of discuss them and see where you're sitting with them at the moment. So Zane Dersman is the cheapest or the most selected guy, apart from Harley Reid, so under 300k there. So Dersman's in 45% of teams. Is he locked even in the team yet?
Surely he's.
I think he is, but at 291,000.
For someone who's going to be a forward pocket,
Yeah.
and would have to be a sub-risk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even-
I'm not going.
A lot
there.
of those guys we've been talking about could be sub-risks.
Let's not tiptoe around it. They were all highly risky.
Yes.
Players. Multiple reasons, and that's one of them.
Yeah, a few of them are sub-risks, like
Yes.
Fifey.
Yes.
Getting
Fifey.
the red one.
All of them.
So Dersman's the highest. I don't think I'll pick him.
No, I won't be.
No, I won't be.
Sean Manor, so he's the mature age
Yep.
cat, and so he's 26 years of age. Got the mid-forward status, 200k. At the moment, he's probably a bench type player. You're not backing him on the ground. Do you have any sources on him?
No, not at this stage.
Cats
but
don't give us a lot,
No,
actually.
they don't, but I can find something out. But he averaged 110 in the VFL, and his mature age,
Yeah.
why would they have picked him
Done that,
if
yeah.
they're not planning on using him almost instantly?
And
I just don't think that's a thing. So
He's still young on their list.
average 25 possessions, 4 marks, 6 tackles, and his mature body. If he is named in the team,
You have to pick him.
I would probably be putting him on my ground, to be honest.
Wow. Is there any world, because you've only got Harley on, is there a world that you could add a couple
100%.
more?
Yeah,
How many
especially
could you go
him.
to?
I'm big on him. Well, it could get to 3 realistically.
Max Heath got the ruck forward status. He's not really going to be playing, we don't think. But Nick Watson, so he's the Hawk, the Wizard, as he's been called. Forward pocket.
Yeah.
That's my worry.
Again, it's him and Ginnivan. Ginny, he's going to get more looks, isn't he?
You would think so.
But, I just don't think you can be paying that. And you're paying a little bit for him because 288k, obviously a very high draft pick.
Yes.
And that hurts. So he's a no for me. Cow, next on the list, is a bloke in 18% of teams. Chris Burgess.
Christopher. No, it's a no.
Is he going to get a look in at all?
He's depth, isn't he?
He's depth.
Has to be.
Yeah, I can't see him getting a game.
No.
Right, Darcy Wilson, he's the Saint, 249k. Worth watching, monitoring.
Yeah, it's a watch.
I think he can score okay.
Yep.
But I don't know how locked he'd be. Like, if he's in the mix, again, a sub-type guy,
Yeah,
isn't he?
that would be a fear. Yes.
It's a hard one there with that. Nate Caddy, so he's the bomber. May get a game, 273k, though, and a key forward. Just, I can't do it.
No.
He's in 11% of teams.
I think there's some real top enders, and then, you don't want to stretch ourselves too thin up there.
Now, 221k, Aaron Cadman going into his second season. So, obviously, number 1 pick, wasn't he?
He was,
Yeah.
yes.
He played 12 games at an average of 24.5.
Tell you what, though, if he's in there 22,
No.
I would have no qualms about putting him F8.
No.
It'll depend on who else is available.
Oh, yes,
Oh, yes, of course. The rookie crisis. Could be a rookie crisis.
Could be.
But, gosh, come on. Number one pick.
This bloke is in 8% of team, but I think that's going to increase because I think Caleb Windsor will play for Melbourne.
Yeah.
He's
so do I.
in
He's been in and out
282K,
for
and
me.
so at that price then, and this is that conversation too, probably needs to be on field. Like it's 282K.
Yeah.
Especially, it depends on who else you might have next to him on the pine.
Yeah.
But he has to be a look.
He does.
Well, I'm only going off by the highlights that they posted
Yes.
of him, and damn, that was enough to.
You're the Dees
pop
expert,
into
Cow,
my
because Raymond goes for the Dees.
That's
and
correct.
Provides plenty of feedback on their
he
Facebook
does.
page under his wife's name, your mum's name, Sharon Bent.
Will he play? Yes. Yes, I think he plays.
Yeah.
There's spots available.
Yeah.
There is,
There's spots available.
and he looked very
And he
good.
looks very good.
Yeah.
Right, we're starting to see a few. We'll scroll past a couple, but Roy, Orazio Fantasia, does he get a look in to the Destroy side at $269,000? Will he play for the Blues?
Look, it's a bargain. I think he'd be well and truly in the mix.
Yeah.
And if he's named, you would consider it. He's like a guy that's averaged 70 before.
So essentially a break even of 30.
Yes. Which is just
70's a stretch for
a
him,
lot
though.
better than that. But
He's the definition of a sub.
he is.
He is.
Yeah, and he's also the definition of a red vest.
Yes.
Definition of VFL.
Warren?
Like forced.
Look
I
how
mean.
angry Warren is that he's been ex-bomber.
Yeah. You don't think...
Wouldn't get a game for
Do you
the
think...
Bombers.
This is a serious question, though. Do you think he's someone that would start in a vest or just receive a red?
He receives, I reckon.
He's a receiver.
I think so.
Receiver.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair call. So, no, at that price, yeah, he deserves consideration, but you couldn't do it, especially with my injury-prone forward line at the moment.
James Cheetah's in at 5% of teams. We'll have to see where he's looking. He did play 4 games last year. Yeah, if he could be an option, we might as well ask old Flando about him when we talk to him. Now, Cooper Simpson's been turning some heads at training for Fremantle.
I have heard that.
Yes.
200K mid-forward. So he's definitely one that you need your little star next to.
Yes. Yeah, no, I've starred him.
You have?
Yeah, I have, because I think he's every chance to get a game.
I think he plays.
Yeah, same.
While you're doing your stars and while you're doing some of your research, Roy, and
Yes.
your sourcing,
Yeah, Sauce.
Braden George for North.
You want me to ask about him?
Yeah, missed last year. What do you have?
No room, I don't think.
Oh, Georgie.
Definitely one to watch.
for
Darcy
sure.
Jones, who we did hear about on the last podcast from Briggsy,
Yes.
about. He could be an option there. Probably going to be that small forward, pressure forward type thing.
Yeah.
But
200K.
200K.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like him.
Yep.
There's
I like him a
actually
lot.
just quite a few names here that are in the mix that might be there. That's the thing. A lot of players to put your little star on.
Yeah, a heap of them will be there.
Oh.
It's just the ones that we could possibly put
is
on the ground.
The forward line's where we're going to probably see them, isn't it?
I think so.
That's where I'm picking this up from all of
There is
my research.
far from a rookie crisis in the forward line, Roy.
there's no.
You could
rookie
actually
crisis
you
on
might need to put some forward rookies to a position into your midfield. There's so many.
Utility.
that. Wow.
Hey,
Hey.
so many.
There's a lot there.
There you go.
Anyway, that's where they are. So, apart from that, let's look now at the other players that are in the most selected forwards, and we'll see if some names pop out at you as we discuss these. So, Jack Macrae's right up there, Flanders right up there, 34%, 37% respectively for those guys. Finlay Macrae, haven't mentioned him because he's a bit over rookie price. 'Cause
He
he's
is.
310.
310.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does he get that opportunity?
He's due. He's due.
They've talked him up a bit
They
during
have.
the pre-season.
They have, and he can find the pill, but if he comes in for them, does he legit sit forward? Is he a forward for them, or does he get a run through the middle?
I think he could get a few runs through the middle because their midfield is up there. Actually, I think Collingwood have the oldest list now. So with your Pendlebury,
Yeah.
your Piggy Mitchell, Chippy,
Sidebottom.
all those guys.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, they're going to be there again, but maybe old Finlay, the better Macrae, I like to say.
Yeah.
Roy.
So he averaged 97 in his last 6 in the VFL.
Yep.
Finding the ball.
Yep,
So if he's in, he's in, if you know what I mean.
I think so.
Yes.
Elijah Sardis, just under 10% of teams. Probably apologise for talking about him on the Bombers podcast. I don't know. I think he can improve. But
Yeah.
Is it enough? That's my issue. I don't think it would be.
Probably not.
Because he's cheaper than what he should do. Like, priced in the low 50s. But, yeah, can't do that. What about Toby Green? the only words I've heard coming out of the club about him, essentially, and from him himself, is that he's playing forward.
Do you talk to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, via the radio. I heard him on there one day. He didn't answer any of my questions, but that was pretty much what he said.
No, he's coming off a really good year.
It was an epic year.
89.
Yeah.
You got it too?
That's no surprise, especially because he was getting to run through the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, he used to be a pig through the middle.
Oh, didn't he ever?
Less midfield time, though, dog. That's no good
Yeah,
for
no good.
TG.
Hawks, Connor McDonald. He's in 6% of sides. I am watching that closely. Hawks don't have an early bye. They've probably got some spots up for grabs there to get some midfield clock.
Yeah, I'm not one of the hypers there.
He's in for me at the moment.
What?
Yep.
Are you doing it?
At the moment I am, yeah.
Crikey.
So it's probably that thing, though. He's basically priced at 70. Like, you would need, for me, he'd need to be pushing that top 6 then. It's got to be 85 plus.
I'll tell you something, dog. That ain't happening.
You don't think so?
No.
I think it can. He's 21.
Will Day being out will help him early on.
How much do we know about that? Is it still touch and go for it? Like round one type thing?
I heard missing the first 2 or so. But yeah.
Look, and you can't pick someone, you don't want McDonald because of that. Right?
No.
That's a stretch. But I just think that in our forward line, he doesn't go backwards. He's only going to be better.
Yep.
So,
anyway.
Other guys like that are Rochelle Cow, your pro boy, about that same price.
Well, that got put to bed, didn't it, by Lairdy the other day.
Yeah, he did mention a lot of bodies and 3 big bananas.
3 big bananas, and Rochelle wasn't even a grape.
No.
So, no, it's a no for him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This is where we are going to see a little bit of ownership shifting, I reckon, over the Pracky games.
Yeah.
Like, is there a world that Caleb Daniel could be that number 1 forward?
Yeah, look, if he gets a more consistent role through the midfield, his scoring will obviously become more consistent, because that's been the biggest problem with him. Because he gets thrown around like a little potato, he's scoring. It doesn't have the consistency we need to call him a premium forward and pay up for him.
Yeah, I don't think you can pay up for him, but he could be one of those premium forwards.
After his Ballarat game.
Which is round 2.
Yes.
Round 2. I'm looking here. He had a 7-week patch leading into his bye where he would have averaged 40 to 45% of the CBAs.
Yeah, and his scoring would have been solid.
His scoring would have been fine.
It's where we can find some point of differences, I think, in the forward line. That's something
definitely.
that we can definitely see out of that. For our forward special today of the AFL Fantasy Podcast, we do have one of the most popular forwards, Roy, and a bloke that we got very up and about with at the end of last year. A must-have he was. This is Sam Flanders from the Gold Coast.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me.
Mate, it is bloody awesome to have you here because, well, plenty of people are picking you at the moment, and probably with good reason. I think we all got very excited at the end of last season. You came in back into the team in round 15. Getting a few, bit of a run through the guts, but racking up some big points. Roy, what was it, 105 average after round 15?
Yeah, 105 average after round 15. I think you really responded to my coaching technique there, Sam, because you flourished once I got you in. What was your secret, mate?
I don't really know if there was any secret. Obviously, the more midfield time helped. I don't know. I think some of the boys just gave me a little bit of trust. And I was able to get some more midfield minutes and I guess just go out and play my role.
Obviously, you mentioned to us pre-interview that you've got a new coaching regime. Obviously, we as fantasy coaches, we've been just begging for you to be given that opportunity that you were late last year for a long time. What do you see your role being under Dimmer?
Yeah, I think pretty similar to the role I played the back end of last year. Obviously more midfield dominant, and then that ability to go forward. Hopefully can impact the scoreboard a little bit more, but I think it'll be a little bit more midfield with some forward splits.
One thing I did notice with you, as some players rely on a high CBA to actually pump out the big score, but you were able to still rack up pushing high off that half forward in the last 2 games. So the fantasy grand final last year, you pumped out 146 and the week prior 125, and that was from 11 and 21% CBA. So what was the secret there? Were you just pushing up at each stoppage or?
Yeah, I think I just sort of accepted that I'm just going to allow Rowley and Tukey Noah's sort of attend those and do what they do best in layer one, and then I sort of just was trying to run smart patterns and get on the receiving end.
Yeah, well, you certainly did a good job of it, mate. You were, like Warnie said earlier, a must-have at the end of the year.
That was it. You'll be, you've got a fair few premiership medals around your neck, I reckon, at the end of last season, and maybe even the Norm Smith, because 146 you scored in that last game against North Melbourne. That was down in Hobart, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was rude.
It was very, very good. So if we could see more of those, that'd be bloody brilliant as we go. So is there any reason why people shouldn't be picking you this year? You're tipped to go pretty highly in some drafts as well, in fantasy draft, because the forward line sucks a little bit as we're drafting there. So should we all be getting on board?
Oh, geez. I don't know. Take a risk if you want. If you want to take a risk, sure. Hopefully I can put up some big scores, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was always hard getting put on the spot to talk yourself up there, Sam. So one thing, I was talking you up in an article the other day. The only reason you won't have really high ownership to start is because of that early buy that you are obviously going to have. Otherwise, I think, Warnie, his ownership would be absolutely through the roof.
Yeah, right up there, 37%, sort of the most picked sort of premium forward that
taking
we've got.
On the buy.
Yep.
That's how good.
Huge.
That's how well you finish the season, mate.
Now, things have changed a little bit for you guys at the Suns with a new coaching setup, but we've got some players I guess we want to sort of start talking about. There are a few guys that are definitely on our radar. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, the more midfield time's been taken over by more half-back time, and we've heard a couple of little whispers come out a little bit there, and early on in the pre-season there was a bit of Connor Buderick action, but lately it was Sexton. What do you reckon your half-back's going to look like? Have we got any guys that might have a bit of upside because of that?
Yeah, I think it's like between Butters and Secco. Like, Secco's been throwing the house down.
Nice.
He looks so good. He's so smart. He reads the play. And he's just like, he has all the attributes to suit it. He's been dominating. So he's definitely one to watch.
So at the moment, obviously we'll keep an eye on the pracky games and things like that, but you'd probably have him locked in best 22 half back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's massive.
Well, he's nice and cheap. $382,000.
I'd have him in.
Nice.
That's all I need to hear. I've been wanting an excuse to put him in, so thanks for that.
All right, there's a few other guys. That we're looking at. Now, we do like a bit of Bailey Humphrey, the Hump Daddy, in there. He had a great season last year. Like, he came in and did pretty well. So, is he someone we can look at in our draft leagues?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a little bit fitter this year as well, so should be able to cover the ground a bit better. But yeah, he had a really good season last year for his first. And I think he'll get a bit more exposure up into the mid as well. So, yeah, definitely one to watch.
One person that I've been keeping a close eye on is Tuke Miller. Now, he averaged 122 and 110 in the 2 seasons prior to last. That was rudely interrupted by injury, and he ended up dropping down to a 96 average. Never quite looked himself after coming back. How's his pre-season been, and what sort of role do you see him playing through the middle?
Yeah, he's obviously had a great pre-season, like he's now probably most professional, so he always comes back in good nick. He'll play that similar role, like he's, in my eyes, top 2 midfielders in the league, so I think he'll be definitely back to his best. Obviously had a few hiccups with the injuries and stuff, and it's always sort of hard to find a bit of momentum after those. But yeah, he's flying. He'll be back to his best.
Yeah, nice. I've seen him play some sort of defensive roles in the past through the midfield, but he seems at his best when he's just unleashed to find the ball, and then like he's a natural tackler and things like that as well. Will he be hunting the pill as his main priority?
Yeah. Well, I think the good thing about Dimmer and what he's sort of brought in is that it could be anyone's day. So between us mids, myself, really, Noah, Tukey, and a few other boys, it's sort of just a step up, my next man up mentality. So we'll sort of just see what the other teams are doing, I guess, and, it could be anyone's day to get unleashed. But I dare say Miller will be, most times, often than not, he'll be getting unleashed.
It'll be his ball. That'll be good.
I like it.
Now, just one last one. 200K. That's our basement price in Fantasy Classic. James Cheetahs. Now, he's been put up a couple of times in the media, and that's where I feel like, oh, does that mean he's going to be a good chance this year? How's he been going this pre-season? Because he sort of came into the system a bit later and all of that. So, if he's 200K, he's got forward status, we'd have to be on board.
Yeah, I reckon if you ask him, he'd tell you to pick him.
I like that.
No doubt. No, he's been going. He's been going really good. He's sort of just he's been playing a little bit of forward. He's had little stints where he's come up as that forward up to the stoppage. But the best thing about him is he just accepts any role and gives 100%. So he's training really well. I'd definitely take a risk on him as well.
Nice. We're very excited about everything starting up very soon. We're not too far away. And there is the One Sunny Day membership. And fans can go up and watch the opening round match against the Tigers at Heritage Bank Stadium. Now, that's perfect for anyone that wants to fly up. It's a long weekend as well. So you can go and catch that out. $49, you get a ticket to the game and a Dimmer-inspired visor and access to all the member deals and discounts. So you can check all that out on the Gold Coast website. But does Dimmer rock the visor there? How's his skin going up there in the sun?
Yeah, he does rock the visor. I don't know. I think he's adapted a little bit of a tan, but he's still working on it.
Well, beautiful. Sam Flanders, thank you so much for being with us today, and we look forward to seeing you rack up a fair few fantasy points for us as this season progresses.
Awesome. Thanks, lads.
How good was Sammy Flanders there?
Yes.
And I tell you what, he brought us, not him as the forward option, but Sexy back.
Sexy back.
They're throwing Sexy back. Now, that was my secret player. That's who I wasn't going to say anything because 0.25% ownership.
Wow.
What? That's just...
So...
That's a home run. That's what we're looking for.
Yes.
What more could you ask for? And a seasoned veteran, rookie priced almost, going to half back, the easiest role in fantasy football to play.
Yeah.
And he's carving it back there.
382K.
Now, what's his history been like, Cow? Has he scored much for us? There'll be some subs in that, obviously,
last year, 8 games. 5 of them in the green vest. Out of the green vest, he scored 27, 48, and 24.
Hear me out on this, though.
Out of the vest, playing full games.
Yeah.
When you play as a forward, though, someone tries to stop you.
Yes.
Touching the ball more often than not. This half-back roll he's got,
It's real.
It's just going to be see ball, get ball, carve, kick ball.
Oh, Ned Flanders wouldn't lie to us about that either.
No, he would not.
So Sexy is back.
Well and truly back, down back.
Look at this picture, Roy. What do you see?
Confidence.
Confident Mo.
Big Mo.
And you need a Mo. If you're coming off half-back and you know you're bringing...
How old is he?
He's old. 30.
What?
But that's,
what are we doing?
But that's where Sexy back thrives.
He does.
With a Mo coming out of half-back.
Look,
Cougar.
he just hasn't been used properly.
Doesn't sound like it.
Tim has rocked up and gone, why haven't you been playing half-back your whole life? I can see you in the mould of a Basher Hooley, a Jaden Short. This is your job.
And meanwhile, Rory Atkins is standing there going, what about me? Oh, what? Am I going forward, Dimmer? No, you're not even in the team, mate. Get out.
We got Sexy back and what about me all in one here. There's a whole concept.
That is nuts, though, isn't it?
Yep. It's an actual thing. It's a thing. It's not even a joke. He's in my team now.
He's in my team.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got to at that price.
At that price, how can it stuff up?
So
well,
when
quite
we see
easily,
this,
actually, judging by those numbers.
When we see this next week and he's got that role.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, Sexy back, he's priced at an average of 42.
Right.
Double that, Roy. Double that.
Easy.
He's having a breakout year.
In all seriousness, though, it's a thing.
It's a thing, and we need another name we can jot down there.
What's his ownership spike now?
It'll go up, rightfully so. Because
and then he'll play in the forward pocket in that Pracky game, and then we go...
Yeah, see you later.
And then we'll ring Flanders back.
Go, mate. You wrecked me here. Cooked us.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that, though. That's
scoop of the podcast.
It is. Who
Thanks
doesn't want to play that price in their forward line this year?
All right, Roy. This might be one of the hardest. This would be the hardest to do, although you don't, you
struggle.
Confidence.
I know. No.
Everything that you do.
All right.
Have you got a 6 that you can confidently put in order?
I do. And at number 1...
Is it sexy,
It's
back?
Alex Sexton. I've had to, out of sheer respect for runs on the board over the years, I have to give it to Jack Macrae.
Of course.
Right.
And hopefully we mix our teams up after the pre-season games because we see him in the midfield dominating where he should be. Okay? Number 2 is Flanders, a guy who I haven't even ruled out starting with despite his bye because all I wanted to hear really from him that it was going to be a similar role to last year. So he doesn't rely, as we spoke about, on CBAs.
No.
He still gets up the ground anyway after those boys in the middle do the grunt work. And you saw in the last 2 games he didn't have high CBAs and his scores were massive.
What, he had that 146?
He had a 140 and a 120 back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, and even in that, so when he had
minimal CBAs.
When he had that 146, he had 11% CBAs.
Nothing. Just gave the other boys a quick rest. Dusty Martin is number 3, and it's not even a joke.
No, it has to be.
This is real. So with Dusty, he played last year. This is just off the top of my head, but there was about 4 games, right, where he was given 30% CBAs.
Yeah.
And he averaged about 100 in those games. None of those games he was given 40% CBAs. So we've got 4 games in there between about 30 and 40 CBAs, averaging about 100. So I've got the feeling, like the words coming out of there, is that CBA count is going to be much higher than 30 to 40%.
Yep.
And he's training the house down. And that's different to when other people are training the house down because this is Dusty.
Yeah.
And Dusty can do things that other people can't. So a fit, motivated Dusty in the guts, he well and truly deserves to be number 3. And I'd be considering getting him if he didn't have a bye. That's how bullish I am on him.
Wow.
Yep.
So, okay. So you'd take him off the board as your 3rd forward in draft.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it?
Very lucky. Yeah, not obviously too early, though.
How many games are you going to play?
Well, that's the thing as well. He played a few last year.
He did. Look, I'm no one can argue with that.
No, definitely not. Number 4, you will argue with this one, is Taylor Adams. Because you're not rating him, but you're not looking at the people around him and the lack of options.
No, I am, Roy. Trust me.
Yeah.
I don't mind. You can have Taylor Adams there.
Dylan Moore, credit where credit's due. So he didn't
He
have
can do it without having to be the midfielder.
Yeah, didn't have a CBA in the last 4 and averaged 105 in that time. So he's just a good footballer. And then rounding it out, because of what you spoke about earlier, Dog, maybe Caleb Daniel, if he gets a bit of consistency, like they're talking about in the midfield, he rounds out number 6.
Okay.
Now, that is not a strong mix, but we all know that it was never going to be. So the people in the mix are Toby Green, who I'm a massive fan of. Always have been, but I really need him to be running through the midfield. And when when he's contacting Warney to tell him he's not running through the midfield as much this year, that is a hit-your-throat warning. Luke Jackson, well and truly in the mix, and I nearly gave it to him. So here's one I'm watching. If Big Das was out, he'd
be in the 6.
He'd be in the 6, well and truly. And it drops off so much that if Harley Reid is really playing off half-back and through the midfield, he could poke his head in there.
He's going to be super interesting when it comes to draft because...
What are you going to need to average to get into that 6 then, do you think?
Well,
85 plus.
85.
Yeah, I was thinking 88 at the moment, probably, to be in that group.
Man, I hope we get some more DPPs as we go.
Who's in the mix?
Bond?
That's not real.
Doubtful.
I know it's not.
Isn't it?
No, it's not real.
Petrarca gets close sometimes.
He does, but only if Clary's playing. Is he playing?
I think so.
Well,
I don't know if he'll be there round 1.
Petrarca's back in the mix then.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. All right. Let's turn our attention to a little bit of Draft, and we like to find a sleeper. And this, so it's amazing, the forward line.
Oh.
With looking at where the mix and the range of players are, is that throwing a blanket
Yes.
is a true story from about your 10th best to about your 50th best. There's about 10 points between them off last year's numbers.
Like your forward lines, your tactics and strategy, drafting in the forward line this year could win you draft because, like you guys have already said multiple times, you don't want to go early on any of these guys.
Yeah.
And people will because they get nervous that their other positions are filling up and that forward line's looking very empty.
Yep.
But you are going to be able to pluck guys very late here that are within a stone's throw of, that top 15.
Who we got then?
15th
Who's someone
guy.
that you've looked at as a bit of a sleeper?
So I had a look at Connor McDonald. We talked about him before. Now, based on last year's average, he sits at like number 38.
Yeah.
That's his average of 71.
Yeah.
You would think, and we've got him in here in our rankings inside the top 20.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that you could grab late.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be any worse than the 71.
No.
He could push that 80 mark.
Oh.
Or even higher, Roy.
Yeah, definitely.
So
F38 he is currently.
Yeah. So, he can be bumped up.
Yeah.
There's a few like that. Well, I look across a lot, and Harmsy might be one, Roy.
Definitely.
He's been even talked up. Some things look nice about him out of the Dogs. The fact that he'll be playing is going to be the first thing. And it sounds like he will.
Yeah, a couple of years ago he was averaging in the 80s.
Yeah.
All he's got to do is lose the vest and get a decent role, and it sounds like he's going to do both of those things at the Dogs.
So he's almost undraftable
Yes.
as such. At 154, he'll come up on your list.
Wow.
As your forwards.
See, you get him and things go to plan, he's going to probably end up being the top 15.
He gets up there in that 70s
Yep.
and punches himself into the top
Yes.
25.
Yep, 25. Good call. Another one like Fyfe, he's going to drop a mile. You could get a bargain with him. Fisher, you could get a bargain. But Billings, if he gets in the 22, which,
I think he will.
same here. I reckon he's a vest risk, but I think he'll be in the 22. And we've seen him average in the 90s multiple times before. Now, that's a few years ago, I hear you saying, but he's had an unlucky run for the last couple of years with injury. He's had a good preseason. If he can get back to his best, that's a solid 80s average.
So he's F73.
Yes.
Fife's F141.
So you're going to be able to find these guys.
Yes. Yep.
That's probably the thing. So drafting strategy then, go and grab our draft kit. You can have a look at our mock draft there. And I know that I wasn't real happy with my forward line that I ended up with. What did I end up with? Wouldn't have been good.
Probably a dog's breakfast, I reckon. Probably.
Yeah, and I got teased for mine as well, but you have a read of mine now.
pick a good one.
So I've got Green, Rochelle, Taylor Walker. Destroy, Luke Jackson, Jack Billings, James Harms. So there's two of the guys that we saw as sleepers, but you got them.
Well done, Roy.
Super late.
Super late. Highly criticised.
Great draft.
But I think it was. And I think the rest of my team is so strong because I left them guys till last.
Yeah, agree.
And like if worst case scenario, they're not going to get picked or whatever, which I don't think will be the case, you go to the waiver wire and you're still not going to find guys that are much worse than who's
you might
in
find the
other
key
teams.
forward
Yes.
that is playing against. But although this is the thing about this year, key forwards are probably going to be picked up on draft day.
Probably.
It's interesting. Forwards are going to be super interesting for draft. Go and grab our draft kit. Go and get your draft league set up as well. Draft season is basically here. If not, it's not too far away. But I think one of the things will be we want to watch these pracky games to help make some good calls with that.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy official.
All right, at AFL Fantasy is where you can find us on all the socials. We're definitely on Instagram. We're definitely on X. And we're definitely on Facebook. Don't know if we've got cool enough to be anywhere else yet, but that's about where we are. Instagram only came last year, about 10 years after it launched. So anyway, that's where we're at. You can catch us too. I'm at Warney DT.
I'm at Roy DT.
At Calvin DT.
All right, let's have a look at some of the questions that have come through from the legends out there that like to ask some questions. All right. Let's start here. Liam is choosing between Fyfe, Jordan, and Fisher in the forward line. If you had to choose two, who would they be?
I think Fisher beats them both.
Yeah.
If he's right to go.
Yeah.
Do we agree with that?
So that's a big if.
Yes.
But yes.
So we'll have Fisher at number
what
one.
I'm hearing, he should be. Yeah.
Fisher at number 1.
Yeah.
I might even go Fifey next, just on value.
Ahead of Jordan.
Yes.
Well, the problem is the vest with both of them, isn't it? But with Fyfe, it's the protection vest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
With Jordan,
It's you're on a cold wing vest.
yeah. And, yeah, well, what was putting him in the vest last year? Just ability? Is that going to happen again? I don't know. That's the risk.
It is the risk.
I think I'm Fisher and Fyfe, though, as well.
Yeah.
Jono's got this question. What is Flanders' round 1 line to force you ride the buys?
So
What
he's
would he
priced
need
at
to
about
score?
90, isn't he?
Yeah. Just a touch under.
Oh, look, it's got to be huge to change the fact that he's missing a game. Doesn't it?
And it would be a fair bit of restructuring.
Yeah.
It's not just the round 1 score, opening round score. It's probably the fact that you would want him to be, going at definitely 95 plus.
Yeah.
And if you felt like he was a clear number 1, which I think he can be, there's definitely that world.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I don't know, and I say this now, and I'll turn into a complete mess after round 0, opening round, but I don't think I want to be too reactionary with big scores and that if I've decided that I don't want that certain player at that cost playing a buy.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I can't help you with that one. I don't have a line. 150.
Do you have that
That'll
line,
force my
Cal?
hand.
I'm happy with one. I'm with you. I don't think, could even just come down to a good matchup for him.
Yeah.
He's got Richmond first up. He could come out and absolutely torch them.
Like I can see a world where a big scorer has me prioritising that player after their bye
Yeah.
and sticking with it until then.
Justo's got this one off X. Any argument to just starting with 3 primo-like forwards, from the group of Moore, Jackson, Daniel, Macrae, Flanders, rather than loading up with all these risky mid-prices?
Could you justify it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I almost will default back to, I think.
Yeah,
Just from
I know.
safety there of those
Yeah.
guys.
And a lot of those
Because
guys
we talk about those
being
injuries,
subs.
all those
Yeah.
guys that could get injured.
They could.
If they all happen on that one
Yeah.
week or...
Or sub. There's the other thing. We're getting guys here who could be subbed out at half time. The thing we need to remember is no one that's made a team has looked at their forward line and went, love that.
Yeah.
No.
Nailed that. Look at that for a forward line. Nobody has.
But like when you're playing best 18 for a few of those weeks,
You can hide
doesn't matter
behind
if
it.
one of
Yes.
them gets injured.
Yes, you can
early
hide.
in a game.
Yeah.
James off Insta, the story that we posted there. Dylan Moore or Caleb Daniel. I feel Dylan Moore's safe, but safe even with some regression. Caleb Daniel could go big.
Yeah, you always get trapped.
You love
when
your
you're picking
Daniel.
Caleb Daniel,
He
though.
scored me 20, though.
I know, you always get
At
angry
Ballarat.
once you do it.
So Caleb Daniel is priced at a 90.
Yeah.
Right? Year before that, he was an 87 and an 87.
He's a good player and rumoured to be in the midfield more, where he's real busy in there.
Might have to do some sourcing there.
But at the moment, because of that safety aspect, I've got more one spot ahead of him in the Rollin 22.
I like it.
Well, Drunken Jay off X says, can I start with a small potato, Caleb Daniel? Or is the Ballarat game really too risky? Now, we do talk it up.
Okay, dog.
But
go.
Smoke, fire, all of that. But I don't think it's really the reason for it, is it?
I don't know. Like, someone tell me why the hell that happens.
I can't.
Like, I've currently got this theory in my head that he catches up with old mates the night before and gets blind and then rolls out and tries to play. That's why he was angry and got suspended that time too.
Oh, that's right. He got
He
suspended.
got a
after
20?
that 20.
Yeah,
What did he score this year, dog?
30. He
Yeah,
jumped
it was up a
late.
Look,
It's bizarre.
real.
It
It's
is.
real.
I'm
This-
a potato.
I was thinking about it the other day because I thought I don't mind him fitting into my forward line the way things are. But then I just went, that game,
No.
how is that a myth when it's happened Twice.
It was not good.
It was a 39. And it was off the back of, so he went 116, 67, 103. Everything looked good.
Yeah.
2 tons in the last 3.
Then Ballarat happened.
Ballarat turned up. He had a massive patch in the middle of the year where he was getting that midfield time.
Yeah.
There was hundreds everywhere.
I think if he's in the midfield, he could even score an 80 at Ballarat.
There's a lot of midfielders then at the Bulldogs that we are just hoping that they're in.
Well,
there.
that's why we're avoiding him at the moment.
Yeah. Agree.
On Insta, Noah's Food Reviews official. Let's go and check out the food reviews there. But is it acceptable to have Mackenzie McDonald from the same team? How do you feel about having a couple of players from the same team? You're doing it in the midfield, aren't you? You've got Butters and Rosie.
Yeah, I do. Which, doesn't feel right.
I'm not a fan
You've
of...
got Adams and Jordan.
I do.
In the forward line.
And I've got Sinclair and Wanganeen Miller in the back line. I'm
everything.
all for it.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
So could you do that?
Yep.
I guess the thing is...
If the
you've
mid-clock's there...
Yeah, you got to... And I don't think both of them are going to get it, though, are they?
I don't think both get it, no.
No.
Here's a footy-related question for you, Kevin. How do Freo score more goals this year?
Pretty obvious.
What, get it to Modra?
Just kick it. Kick it through the middle. Okay. Pretty easy.
The Bull will be getting it down there instead of having it kicked over his head down there.
Look,
Fyfe.
you're not kicking many goals when your forward is named a miss, right? You're not on the right track,
That's some
are
of
you?
your best.
Thank you. Here all day. Here all day.
So get his name changed.
Change his
To
name.
Bullseye or
A
something.
couple of questions that are coming through. Alex Sexton, if the halfback role is real, are we going to see Sexton in there? Well, yeah, we have heard about it. Now we've heard it from the horse's mouth.
Sexy.
They're throwing sexy
Sexy
back.
back.
Yeah.
Look, I'm all for it.
So am I.
And he's a forward. Like, it's just an easy one.
He is.
It's an easy pick.
Michael's question here, if we start all these mid-prices in the forward line, do we need an instant reward with them, or can we let them be a slow burn? This is a thing, and this is some fantasy philosophy, I guess, in the
sit
sense
back,
of...
get your pens out.
But what you need is these guys to have that big one early to kickstart that stuff.
That would be handy.
And that's like the rookies, everyone. Because otherwise, they are either achievable by other people, or you may not just get that going. But also, remember, that first score is the first one that drops out, but it is a 5-game rolling average that helps produce those scores. But the more recent ones get the higher weighting and all of that.
You know what?
You do want someone to do well, like especially if you're making a decision between two of them.
Yeah, true.
You want the player that should have the better score. Like, it's probably an obvious thing to say, but
Yes, but...
you know what I mean. Like, that's what you want in your perfect world. You want the guys that are going to get those higher scores, the more ceiling type ones, so that cash generation is happening, so you can jump off quicker
Every year,
rather than slow burn it.
every year we always have a couple, maybe 2 to 4 players of the mid-priced, and we're like, but they're spread across your lines. Now they're all just in the one spot.
Yeah, it's a worry.
And it's
a massive
interesting with
worry.
how they go, because like a good example from last year was Warple. He had a great season. When you
was.
look at his
He did.
season
He was
average,
good.
but he was a slow start.
Yeah.
If he had have done what he did at the end of the year
Yeah.
and smashed that through from the beginning,
Yeah. Be much
we
more
would
of
have
a
been
fan
much more
favourite.
happier.
Yeah.
And we would have,
Yeah.
then again, we would have probably not sold him as well. That's the
well,
stuff
that's
that
true.
we do with some of those. All right, for F2 and 3, we've got to rank Rochelle, Connor McDonald, and Machito. Interesting, Machito. Oh, has done any research there, Roy?
Oh, well, no, I haven't, but I really do like him, and he is going to get better as well. So I probably don't have him ahead of Rochelle. He was in it, wasn't he?
Yep.
But I do like him. I do like Owens. Cal,
Yeah,
do you
so
like Owens?
he's priced at 74.
Yeah. You're predicting the breakout.
Yeah.
You got to want something close to the 90 mark there.
Like, I think he can go 85.
yeah,
I think
I'd
he's
pay
a
that.
jet.
Calvin, since you're the master captain picker here for Samuel Lee, are there any forward captain options?
Oh, plenty. Sexy back. No, there's no one in your forward line that you would, in your right mind, give not even a VC. You wouldn't even vice captain anyone. Macrae's no chance unless he's coming off back-to-back 120s.
No.
Flanders, maybe if he catches on where he started off last time, he would be in a good matchup.
Yeah.
If they've got runs on the board.
Jackson, if Darcy was out, in a good matchup.
To answer your question, mate, no.
I'm talking VC at a stretch.
Yeah, 0 captains up there.
Lord of Toby here. Is Joel Jeffrey an option? Oh, we should have asked old mate.
Should have.
About him. Look at the numbers when he switched to half-back. Yeah, they were good.
Yes, they were good.
457K, yeah, you'd really want it to be right, though. That's the thing.
I don't know if he is the half-back this year.
Not if Sexy's back.
Exactly.
You can pick him as a forward, though. Old Joel.
Are there any key forwards that we can dabble on?
That's why he asked about it in the Forward podcast.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just got no
working
idea.
as we go. Key forwards.
Is there anyone you dabble on?
Dabble.
Draft, yes, you can, and you will need to.
Curnow gets disrespected. The dude averaged like 88 or something.
Yeah, he did.
What about Jesse Hogan?
88 from
Jesse Hogan? Jeremy Cameron?
What?
Yeah, Cameron.
Dog scoffed at Mike Curnow and then put Hogan back in my face.
Jeremy Cameron had a
bit of
patch.
price difference.
He had a patch at the start of the year.
Yeah, he did.
He was humming.
He was in Roy's Rollin 22.
He was, and dare I say it, deserved to be there.
Yeah.
He was killing it.
He got to 83 average. I mean, well, he probably dropped to an 83 average because he was flying.
Yeah, he did get injured.
Do we keep or trade Jack Macrae off this injury? So can you go there? What does he need to do for you to pick him?
Look, have an erect head, play in the midfield, look hungry.
Yeah.
He obviously would have to
remotely
play
happy.
that community series game. That's down here too.
Yeah.
We get the Bulldogs here.
God, it's so role dependent with him.
Yeah.
Like others, like Flanders, he can be put on a half forward and not sulk about it and still dominate.
It's all about attitude.
It is. So we have to see where Macrae's playing. He is someone, because CBAs, they don't correlate exactly the same for everyone, but for him, it is significant.
Very.
He's in the midfield, starting CBAs, he's 100 plus easy.
See,
if not, you don't know what you're going to get.
Because let's have a quick think about that Bulldogs midfield makeup.
Yeah.
It's Bond.
Yes.
It's Libba.
And they've always been toit.
Yes, they have.
And Treloar. So Treloar last year, those three guys were 78% and above.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. They missed finals.
Yep.
So something might change.
Yep.
That's the thing.
So Treloar would be the one that would get moved on, you would think.
You'd think so.
And then you've got, Daniel, Macrae.
There's obviously no Bailey Smith.
Sando
will go through there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Busy.
It is busy, but it's only
busy,
a
especially when
spot,
they've been toit.
It's funny because we always say Bevo throws them around.
Yeah.
We didn't move those three.
No.
They were the three. What were they, Dog? The three? Big bananas.
He threw it at the start of the year.
Yes.
And left it.
Yep. And that's why Macrae sulked all year.
Yeah.
He ain't getting back in there.
Probably not.
No chance.
Forwards are going to be headaches.
They are.
All the way up till we start in round one, so get excited about that.
Then it'll become a migraine because you're actually stuck with them.
Non-concussion related migraines is what we'll end up with.
We are counting down to round one. That is the 14th of March. We're getting close to that. Less than 4 weeks.
That's nerve-wracking.
And we've got these match sims coming up. They start this weekend on the Sunday and go through the next week or so. Then we get the community series games. We've got a few podcasts to go as well, a lot of decisions to make, and we've got a lot of stuff to get done on afl.com.au/fantasy. Go and check it all out there now. Heaps of stuff you can go and read, download the draft kit. You can also go out and pick up a copy of the AFL record. The fantasy edition is out now. Flying off the shelves, I believe.
Oh, that's what I've heard.
Selling more
it's
magazines than Taylor
to be
Swift. So go and grab that and enjoy the centrefold, especially with Calvin looking very much like his old man.
Didn't he?
Sad.
That was unbelievable.
It's really sad.
Looking good, living in the 70s. Because you were. for about 3 weeks.
Yes.
That's true. True. Thanks heaps for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and rate us 5 stars and all of that stuff. Be back with more podcasts next week. See ya.